What's going on YouTube? It's Eddie Silva here, and in today's video, we're going to be analyzing Arizona's language development approach. But before we do that, I'm going to need you to smash that like button, subscribe to this channel, and don't forget to hit that notification bell so you don't miss any updates regarding this channel. Now, I want to give a special shout out to my professor, Professor Lorena Brown. Thank you so much for tuning into this video today, and I hope it reflects the hard work that I put into it. Now, without further ado, what is Arizona's definition of an English learner? Now, simply put, these students are those whose native language is not English. They cannot fluently read, write, speak, or comprehend English to the point that it affects their performance in the academic setting. Therefore, modifications need to be made to the curriculum to make sure that these students are growing appropriately alongside their English-speaking peers. Now, let's cover some distinctions between the instructional programs such as ESL, bilingual, sheltered English instruction, and structured English immersion. ESL. This is the term used to describe courses or programs that are designed to teach English as a second language. So the students are mainstreamed into general classes and can be pulled out for a certain amount of time for individualized or group English instruction. Bilingual is the use of two languages during school instruction. It embraces the native language while learning English at the same time. Sheltered English instruction is a teaching approach that integrates instruction of content and language development. It focuses on content learning with English development through the use of visual, sensory, and auditory tools. Now, SEI, or Structured English Immersion, encompasses all strategies to make content understandable for ELLs, teach English exclusively while teachers can use the native language to clarify certain things. Ultimately, it's all based in the English language. Now, what is Arizona's language development philosophy? It's ultimately rooted in the idea that every student, English learners included, have something valuable to contribute to their community. Now, in order for them to contribute this, they need to become proficient in the English language. But that has to happen at the same time that they master their content. So this can be a tricky approach. But let's get into what Arizona figured out. So, student agency, what is it? Why is it important? Student agency is learning through meaningful and relevant activities by giving students options that help them discover their own voice. It's associated with three different dimensions. The first is dispositional dimension. This is reliant upon the students' personal tendencies, whether their strengths are to be entrepreneurial or generative, creative, resistant. It thrives on their general tendencies. Motivational dimensions. It's the part where students learn to delay gratification. They learn to pursue the things that they want, even if there are obstacles in the way. It's where students learn to pursue things, and that ultimately the things that are most worth it in life are not the easiest things. The dimension of positionality. This is the social dimension. This is the philosophy. This is the part where we realize that students' identity is not influenced by one single person, but it's influenced by the entire community, parents, teachers, peers, and in different social contexts, they have different roles and different identities. So putting this all together, it gives students a voice and a choice in how they learn, helps them excel in their academics, and helps students partake in social activities and be able to communicate with their community. Now let's go over the four principles of Arizona's language development approach. Principle number one is asset-based behaviors and expectation. Once again, it's based on the idea that students' native language is not an obstacle, it's an asset. Their culture is not an obstacle, it's an asset. And we want to invite them to embrace that, encourage them to share that with the class so everybody else can learn and benefit from that. Principle number two is integrated instruction in disciplinary language and content. This is more academic. Instruction is designed to scaffold through content-based literacy and language lessons. Principle number 3 is targeted and explicit language instructions. In order for English learners to develop and discover their own voice, confidence, and skill, it's necessary to implement participation and targeted language instruction. Principle number 4, assessment, monitoring, and feedback. In order to accurately and effectively measure and evaluate progress, English learners have the opportunity to set their own goals while being provided with frequent assessment, monitoring, and feedback. Now, let's go over some of the different research-based approaches. Let's go over the pull-out model. ESL teachers in this model pull students out of their general education class to work in an individualized or small group setting. This allows for more individualized help and a more detailed and immediate assessment. Now, in this approach, students can be pulled out for 1 hour for targeted English language development time and 1 hour for language instruction. In the 2-hour model, students receive targeted instruction with an SEI teacher. It's implemented throughout the day, focusing on content areas. Instruction is differentiated based on their level of English proficiency, and students receive 2 hours of targeted English language development time. In the newcomer model, it's intended for students whose English proficiency level is very new. They're very new to the English language. These students receive 2 hours of targeted English language development time, and these students also receive 2 hours of language instruction in the integrated setting. 50% of content instructions in this program is in math, science, and social studies. In the 50-50 dual language immersion model, it's intended to teach academic content in 2 languages with the objective of students becoming literate and fluent in both. Students receive 30 minutes of targeted ELD time and 90 minutes daily of language instruction within the integrated setting. Minutes can be accumulated throughout the week by different teachers, and the time can be attributed toward content areas that would be most beneficial for the student. Now, wrapping it all up, in order to effectively teach these students or help these students reach their full potential, what I love about what Arizona does is that they don't just focus on the cognitive level of these students, but rather they focus on the social part, the psychological part, the emotional part. And in order to help these students reach their highest potential, we need to approach them as a whole person. That's all for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. You have a blessed day.